Why is it that we'll sit through a bad movie just because we already bought the ticket? Or keep paying for a gym membership even when we never go? It's not logic, it's not rational, it's loss aversion. The idea that we fear losing much more than we love winning. And once you see how this plays out, you will understand half of modern consumer behavior. Hi, I'm Akanksha, and this is The Storyteller's Lens, where we break down the psychology of branding, marketing, and culture. So, today, we are diving into one of the most powerful forces in behavioral economics, loss aversion. We'll look at what it is, the science behind it, how it shows up in everyday life, how brands exploit it, the risks of overusing it, and finally, the lessons marketers should take away. So let's start with the core insight. In their 1979 paper on prospect theory, Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky showed that people don't treat gains and losses equally. A loss feels about twice as powerful as an equivalent gain. That means losing $10 hurts about twice as much as the pleasure of finding $10. And this single asymmetry explains so much about why consumers cling to subscriptions, change loyalty rewards, and avoid downgrading. So let's bring this to life with some examples. Number one is ownership and the endowment effect. Once we own something, even temporarily, we value it more. Kahneman and Thaler ran an experiment in 1990. Participants who were given a mug demanded twice as much to give it up than others were willing to pay to buy it. Marketers know this very well. That's why we have free trials, test drives, freemium apps. Once you have experienced ownership, giving it up feels like a loss. Number two is subscription and defaults. Loss aversion also explains why people stick with defaults. In a 2000 study by Madrian and Shia, employees who were automatically enrolled in a 401k saving plan had participation rates of 86% compared to just 49% when they had to opt in. Today, this psychology powers Amazon Prime, Spotify, Netflix, and gym memberships. Canceling doesn't feel like saving money, it feels like losing access. Third is promotions and price framing. Framing matters. Don't miss out on $50 of savings. Works better than save $50 today. Airlines use it constantly. Last chance to keep your benefits. In 2011, researchers Shu and Peck showed that consumers are more willing to pay to avoid losing a voucher than to gain one of equal value. Number four is loyalty programs and rewards. This is where loss aversion becomes habit forming. In 2006, Nunes ran the famous Endowed Progress experiment. When consumers got a loyalty card with 12 stamps and two already marked, completion rates doubled from 19% to 34%. Why? Because not completing feels like a loss of progress. And we hate losing progress. Number five is a scarcity and FOMO. Scarcity is just loss aversion in disguise. Booking.com's only two rooms left, or Amazon's deal ends in 2 hours, are designed to make you feel the pain of missing out. Agrawal and colleagues showed in 2011 that scarcity appeals significantly increase purchase intent, especially for hedonic products like fashion and travel. And these aren't just lab findings, they play out in real markets, such as housing. In Boston, condo sellers facing a nominal loss listed their homes 9 to 12% higher and sold slower. They anchored to avoiding the loss rather than pricing rationally. Investing. In 1998, Terence Odian studied investors and found the disposition effect. People hold losing stocks too long and sell winners too early, simply because selling a loser feels like a admitting loss. Next is retail. The Baymard Institute finds around 70% of online carts are abandoned. That's why recovery emails often frame the message as don't lose your items instead of buy now. The loss framing works better. So here is the marketer's playbook. Free trials and guarantees. Netflix free month isn't just generosity, it's strategy. Once you are in, canceling feels like a loss of entertainment. Number two is framing offers as loss avoidance. Keep your 20% discount works harder than get 20% off. Insurance ads too. Don't risk leaving your family unprotected. Beat secure your family's future. SaaS companies frame downgrade messages as you will lose access to those features. Not basic plan includes fewer features. Progress and loyalty. Starbucks rewards shows you how close you are to a free drink. Walking away feels like losing progress. Number four is a scarcity nudges. Items in your cart are almost gone. Countdown timers on flash sales, all designed to make you feel the pain of potential loss. But here is the danger. If you push too hard, consumers feel manipulated. Over aggressive scarcity cues. One person looking at this now can feel fake. Subscription fatigue is real. Gym memberships and auto renewals can trigger resentment when customers feel trapped. And regulators are paying attention. In the UK and EU, authorities are cracking down on dark patterns that exploit loss aversion in e commerce. What was once clever marketing is quickly becoming a compliance risk. So, how do you measure this? Number one, compare conversion uplift from loss framed versus gain framed CTAs. Number two is track churn when downgrade or cancel flows emphasize lost benefits. Number three is measure redemption and completion rates in loyalty programs with endowed progress versus clean slates. And the last is test email subject lines. Don't lose X versus get X. See which one pulls higher click through. Loss aversions explains so much things we do as consumers. We value what we own disproportionately. We hate canceling subscriptions. We respond more to don't lose than to gain. And we chase progress in loyalty programs because losing momentum feels worse than starting fresh. For marketers, the lesson is simple but powerful. Use loss framing sparingly but strategically. Make ownership salient with trials, previews, and freemium models. And always balance persuasion with authenticity. Because when consumers realize you are exploiting their fear of loss, you don't just lose the sale, you lose the relationship. In the end, loss aversion is deeply human. It explains why we hold on to bad investments, why we finish meals when we are full, and why we stick with brands even when alternatives are cheaper. But it also shows why marketers need to tread carefully. Yes, you can nudge behavior with fear of loss, but the strongest brands aren't just trapping people, they are creating value that consumers don't want to lose in the first place. That's the difference between manipulation and loyalty. Hi, I'm Akanksha, and this is The Storyteller's Lens. If you enjoyed this deep down, hit subscribe for more explorations of psychology, branding, and marketing. And tell me in the comments what's one thing you have kept paying for or kept doing just because it felt too hard to let go. That's loss aversion in action. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.